Yeah. What's poppin', YouTube? It's King Zai with another Just Different video for my Just Different people. Today, we're here to talk about the soul. Now, I wanted to do this video in multiple different ways, so I think that I'm really just going to backdoor and do another soul video because I got a lot of questions about the soul. I got a lot of theories about the soul. I got a lot of things that I want to talk about and elaborate on about the soul, but we got to build some kind of foundation, and that's really what we're doing for the page right now. We're building a foundation. We're building a foundation of knowledge on these different points, like melanin, psychedelic, and now onto the soul. We're going to continue to build foundations on different points, and then we're going to create series out of the ones that build the most traction or get the most interest, right? Okay, so let's get into it. We always want to look at the definition of whatever word we're trying to look into, just because, words got meanings for a reason. So, the immaterial essence, animating principle, or actuating cause of an individual life is the definition of a soul in the Webster Dictionary. The spiritual principle embodied in human beings, all rational and spiritual beings or the universe. A person's total self, an active or essential part, a moving spirit, the leader, the moral and emotional nature of human beings, the quality that arouses emotion and sentiment, spiritual or moral force, right? Let's go into this. Okay, so the 5 great religions of the world, right? Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. They all believe in some version of a self which survives death. So all of these religions believe in like some form of life after death, somewhere that it's something inside of you that when this flesh dies, you have some kind of energy, you got some kind of self, something that's connected to this life that you live. It lives on past when you die, right? So let's get into these first 3 for right now. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam believe that there was a time when souls did not exist. We got to look at the different beliefs that these religions have because, they all kind of believe the same things, but then they believe in different ways. The traditional concept of an immaterial and immortal soul distinct from the body was not found in Judaism before the Babylonian exile, but developed as a result of interaction with the Persian and Hellenistic philosophies. So the Jews basically didn't believe in an immaterial and immortal soul until they started communicating with different people, with different types of people, the Persians and the Hellenistic philosophies, right? Christianity adopted the Greek philosopher Plato's view that we consist of a mortal body and an immortal soul, right? Death is the separation of soul from body. So Christianity got this mindset from the philosopher Plato that we consist of a mortal body and an immortal soul, a soul that lives on forever. Death is the separation of the soul from the body. The Hebrew word nefesh, right? Because the Bible was written originally in Hebrew, right? Or Arabic, whatever, right? The Hebrew word for nefesh is translated in older English Bibles, but actually has a meaning closer to living being. So when you read the Bible and the Bible talks about the soul, the original translation of the word soul is actually nefesh, which does not really mean soul. It actually means living being, right? This is just, we just going down it because we gotta look at the different ideologies, the different beliefs. According to Judaism or Jews, the soul was created by God and joined to an earthly body. Unclear on when, between birth and conception, a human being is fully present. So they don't really know when the soul was created by God and joined to an earthly body. They just know that like one day there wasn't there was a planet with no life on this whole, there was a planet with no humans walking around, and then God decided, okay, I want to create humans and put souls within them. That's their belief, right? Islam believes that the soul was breathed into by the fetus of God. So Islam believes that when you in the womb, God puts the soul within the fetus before the baby is even all the way fully conceived or fully, you know what I'm saying, fully birthed into this realm. Hinduism, this is when we get into it. This is really what interests me, because these Western ideologies, I don't know, I don't really connect to the Western like beliefs, but the Eastern beliefs, or I don't even want to say Eastern, but the beliefs from the other places of the other places of the world, like India and China and, you know what I'm saying, Africa and shit, they beliefs seem more authentic to what was actually like what's relevant to the world. This is my opinion, so we just gonna get into it. This is just my opinion. Hinduism believes there has never been a time when souls did not exist. So you got to know, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, those other religions, they believe that there was a time when souls did not exist and God created the soul, right? Hinduism believes there has never been a time when souls did not exist. We have all existed since the creation of life. We are all bound to samsara, the infinite cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. And that's what this image is that's up right now. This is basically the reincarnation theory, or this is the karma theory. This is different things that you'll hear people call it. Our souls are continually reincarnated in different physical forms according to the law of karma, a cosmic law of moral debit and credit. Each moral deed, virtuous or otherwise, leaves its mark on the individual. At the time of death, the sum total of karma determines our status in the next life. You got to understand that this is where even the belief of heaven and hell in the Christianity and Islam and Judaism religion, this is where that ideology of heaven and hell comes from. It comes from the original ideology of the reincarnation theory, of that if you don't live your life, because it really starts in the Egyptian culture. We're looking at the Hinduism right now. We're gonna get to the Egyptian culture later, but the Egyptians originally believed that if you didn't live your life accordingly, if you didn't live right, then you were judged after and you were sent to either a good place or a bad place, right? And then so the Hindus, or the people that follow Hinduism, I don't really know what to call them, they believe that we incarnate in this life to basically experience, to learn the lesson, right? And if the better or the worse we do depends on what life we come into the next lifetime. So if you a bad person in this lifetime, you walk around treating everybody bad, just say you a murderer, you a rapist, and say, you know what I'm saying, you just doing crazy shit, you end up coming back as a roach, basically, right? And then if you live a good life, you do everything you're supposed to, you might come back in some shit that don't have to really worry about, something like a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? You might be a bird, you know what I'm saying? You might be, I don't know, fucking elephant. I don't know, some shit that don't have to, you're not gonna live a stressful life. They say that living life in a human form is like a God form, but it's also like a form of like slavery as well, like an imprisonment. But that's some deeper shit. That's another video we're gonna go on, but so basically, yeah, that's what the Hindus believe in, is that you have a moral debit and credit. So every life that you live, and so that's what this ring is about. And also pay attention to the psychedelic art that's going on. You see he got 3 eyes. You see, you know what I'm saying, the nigga at the top got 3 eyes that's controlling the whole wheel of life or whatever. This is the samsara shit. So all these lives that you see on the outer ring, you're supposed to be doing what you can to get into the inner circle. So you gotta break through these levels. You gotta basically ascend. It's about your soul elevating. So because your soul, the earth is a school for the soul. It's like it's for us to come here and experience and learn lessons. And so it's different levels. It's basically different grades. Just like when you go to school, you go 1st through 12th grade. It's the same thing. That 1st through 12th, that's where we get deep into it. Because my friend actually wanted me to make this video about the zodiac signs. That's where the zodiac signs come from. The reason that there's 12 zodiac signs is because there's really, I think it's supposed to be 13. But that's when they all come together. It's 13 levels of the soul. And so when you go all the way from Taurus to Pisces, or I don't know the order of how this shit go. whatever life you in, you basically came into this life because that's the level that your soul is on right now. We don't know the rankings of the levels, though, for the zodiac signs. We don't know the rankings for the lives that are in this little circle, this little wheel right now. But essentially, your soul is coming here to this life, to this plane, to this realm, to learn, ascend, and elevate to your God self, so that you are no longer just a mere like human being, basically. Buddhism accepts there was no time when we were not bound to the cycle of birth and rebirth. Unlike Hinduism, it is not believed there is an eternal, unchanging soul that moves from one life to the next. So Buddhism, they believe that there was no time when we were not bound to the cycle of birth and rebirth. So they do believe in this same will concept, the same life. You live life and then you die, and then you reborn and you live life again and then you die again. They believe in that same concept. But it does not believe that there is an eternal, unchanging soul that moves from one life to the next. I don't really know exactly what that means. I wrote that from my notes, so I don't know. We're going to have to get into that later, but that's what they believe. Buddhists believe our consciousness is like a flame on the candle of our body. At the moment of death, we leave the body, but this flame goes into a new body to experience a new life, right? Let me read that one more time. Buddhists believe our consciousness is like a flame on the candle of our body. That's our consciousness. That's your awareness. That's basically your ego. It's basically what makes you believe that you are whatever name niggas gave you when you was born. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you hold on to, like, oh, this is my house, this is my car. That's your ego. That's the consciousness. That's the candle. That's the awareness of, oh, I am Zaya. You know what I'm saying? I am Za. That's my name. I'm Za. That is the flame of consciousness that allows me to make that distinction. At the moment of death, we leave the body, but this flame goes into a new body to experience a new life. So the consciousness that I have when I die, it will forget about, my soul will remember this lifetime, but the consciousness, right, will go into another body and pick up a new name, live a new life, and it will forget really that this all happened. But my soul holds on to the experience, but the consciousness gets a reset when it goes into the new body, basically, right? And so that's what this will. This is the Buddhist form of the samsara wheel, where you living life and you going through all the rings, you going through all the trials and tribulations of the multiple lives, so that you can get to the Buddhist state or the enlightened state, which is in the middle when you become your God self, right? Christianity, a joke to me, I ain't gonna lie. Christianity believes the soul lives on after death. We know this, right? They believe that you are judged and sent to either heaven or hell. So that's what this is right here. This picture blurry, I'm sorry, but you see the niggas at the bottom, they trying to pull the angel down into hell. At the top, that's supposed to be heaven. That's supposed to be Mary with baby Jesus right there, and all these white people. That's why Christianity funny to me, because they gonna try to convince us that all these white people know what's really going on in the spiritual realm. I don't think so, but okay. Islam, let's go into something else. Islam believes that souls await the day of resurrection in their graves. Those destined for hell will suffer, and those destined for heaven will wait peacefully. Let me read that one more time. Islam believes that souls await the day of resurrection in their graves. So when you die, you're just gonna sit in your grave. Those destined for hell will suffer, and those destined for heaven will wait peacefully. My favorite part of it, again, always to get into like the Hinduism shit, or like the Eastern philosophies, because they so detailed in how they look at it. That's how you know that they've been studying this shit for literally thousands of years, and this Christianity shit is like, it's new, and it's like, it's reiterated. It's basically a remix of all the other shit. The Hindus believe in the destiny of the soul, right? And so they have different schools of thought on this. So they, just like you got people that believe that, like, I don't know, I was finna try to say something, I ain't finna try to do all that. They believe in different destinies of the school of the soul, but they have different schools on how you are supposed to elevate or ascend your soul, right? And so we got the first one. I don't really know how to say these names, so I'm not even gonna try. We're gonna talk about the one in the blue, the Samkia Yoga. the aim is to realize the separation between the soul and the physical body. So they focus on like meditation and the distinction between like, okay, I know that I'm the flesh, but what does it mean for me to be separated, for my soul to be separate from my physical body? So they focus on that. The red one, the Advaita Vedanta school, they focus on the soul's loving devotion to God. And so they do meditations and where they have different names for their gods that they deem as like sacred names. So they got like Krishna and damn, I can't think of the other one. They got names for their gods, and so they'll meditate on these names and they'll chant these names. And so they have the belief that you chant these names and you meditate on these names long enough that you'll tap into or you will connect to whatever God you know what I'm saying, you chanting, and that's how you will achieve your enlightenment. You will be in the everlasting love of God, right? I'm not even gonna try to say this purple name. You're gonna have to look that shit up if you want to say that. But they believe in the liberation that occurs when the soul enters into the oneness of God, right? And so they compare it to a drop of water merging into the ocean, right? So they explain that your soul is, that God is the ocean. This is how they explain what your soul is. They say that God is the ocean, right? And that you are nothing, you are a drop of water that came out of that ocean. And so they believe that for you to liberate your soul or for you to connect back to God, it is compared to a drop of water that drop of water going back into the ocean while also maintaining its individual identity. So you will still keep your name, you will still keep your story, you will still keep your ego that makes you who you are, but you will be living in the ocean of God, the everlasting, you know what I'm saying, never ending love. For the yeah, I'm not even gonna go back to that. Okay, the yellow one, Advaita Vedanta school, they believe that liberation is attained when the soul realizes its essential identity with Brahman, the impersonal Godhead beyond the gods. And so basically that one is, they believe that this entire realm, this entire plane that we live on is merely an illusion. All this shit is fake, right? You are not real. This is what they believe. They believe that you are not real at all. The only thing that is real is emptiness. And so the realization that they are looking to get you to come to, or the liberation that they are looking to get your soul to come to, is to realize that you are actually God. You individually created everything that is around you. We all did, because we are all God, essentially. It's a you know what I'm saying, it's a kind of interesting concept to try to wrap your head around. We can make a video really just about that, but right now we just comparing different ideologies of the soul and the destiny of the soul and what they believe the soul is and its purpose, right? And so they believe that your soul is living in like a play, it's living in an illusion, it's living in a fake realm. Our soul makes all of this real so that we can come to the realization that like, oh shit, it was all fake. Like, it's basically a game. But we gonna make another video about this shit. That's just, just wrap your mind around that for right now. Buddhism believes that liberation comes from knowing that basically the same thing. That's why it's interesting when you look at it. Buddhism believes that liberation comes from knowing that the idea of the individual soul or ego is an illusion. It is all the grand illusion of samsara. So basically most religions, from the ancient religions, because you got to notice Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, they kind of new compared to the history of the world. The world is way older than what we think it is. The older ideologies, Buddhism and Hinduism, and even the ancient Egyptian civilization, they believe that all of this shit is an illusion, and that the individual the individual soul or ego is fake, and some shit that we created to make ourselves feel special, when in reality, like, all of this shit is fake. Let's get into my favorite shit, the Egyptians, because believe it or not, this is where we all come from, regardless of what niggas want to talk about. If this is the oldest people we can find on the planet, well, that means we had to all come from them, right? And so The ancient Egyptians believed in life after death, of course. That's why they whole beliefs and ideology was set around death. They were basically infatuated with death. When they died, they would mummify the body, hoping to preserve the corpse so the soul could come back to the body, giving it breath and life. They called soul, or the life force, the breath, the ability that it gives you to live. They called it Ka, Ka, right? Egyptians believe that certain images, paintings, and carvings that were left on the walls of the tombs would come to life and accompany the dead in the afterlife. Because you got to understand, this all comes back to, oh shit, this reality is fake. This world that we living in is not real. So basically, the only thing that's real within you is the soul, that spark of light that you can't see. Is immaterial. It's not physical. This physical realm is all fake, right? So when you die, that's why they painted the images and the paintings and the carvings on the tombs, because the physical realm is fake, and the shit that we can't see, the shit that we can't touch, that's what's real. So them painting the shit on the walls, when you died and your soul left the physical realm, it would enter into the spiritual realm, where things like hieroglyphs coming off the wall and being alive is possible, right? And so that they would paint all this shit on the wall so that they could keep this connection in the afterlife with this realm, basically, right? Let me see. According to the Egyptian beliefs of the afterlife, the Ka, or the soul, would leave the body when one died and would transform into a bird called the Ba. This is the Ba, right? The Egyptians believed that each person had a Ka. Everybody had a soul. And the Ba is a set of spiritual characteristics unique to each individual. Unlike the Ka, or the soul, the Ba will remain attached to the body after death. Funeral rituals were intended to release the Ba from the body so it could move freely and rejoin with Ka so it could live on as Ak. The Ba is believed to return every night to receive new life before emerging in the morning as Ak. Right? And so it's like, yes, you got to understand how deep they were into this. Like they believed this shit to be true. They was doing research on this. Every time somebody died, you had to do the funeral shit in the right way, because if not, they believed at least that their soul would never find peace. Their soul would never be able to be at, to be at rest. And so, yeah, but just look at how disconnected we are from all of this, and we know that these are the people that we come from. Egyptians believe that when the spiritual body or soul, or the Ka, entered the afterlife, their soul or Ka would continue to live a life similar to the living world. But this life was not guaranteed. The dead would have to navigate a dangerous underworld journey and face final judgment before being granted access. Weighing of the heart by Osiris. So this is where all of, literally every religion that you know about, where the idea of heaven or hell, if you live good, you go to a good place. If you live bad, you go to a bad place. This is literally where all of that comes from the original civilization of people that we know about. If you look at the picture, you can see that that's King Anubis right there with the dog head, right? And you can see that there's a heart on the scale to the left, and then on the right, that's a feather. And so the final judgment is, if your heart is heavier than that feather, then that means that you were like unrighteous. You know what I'm saying? You were too of the world. You basically were too connected to the world to transfer over to the spiritual realm. Your heart too heavy, right? Your heart got to be as light as a feather, or lighter than the feather, rather. Yeah, so that's what we got for that right there. And I also want to add for something. Hold on, what was it? I want to add that. Okay, yeah, for this right here, the Ka, the Ka must continue to receive offerings of food, because they believe that the Ka, the soul, the life force, they believe that this lives on after death, and that's when you're alive, you eat to keep your ka alive. So when you die, or when say your sister, your brother, God forbid, pass away, for you to keep your brother, your sister's ka or soul living, you would have to be the one. It's basically your responsibility because it's your family. You would be the one to give them offerings of food and drink to keep their soul living. But we are so disconnected from that. We think it's fucking devil work in this generation if you working with your ancestors. So basically we letting our ancestors die because this Christian system that has been forced upon us has us scared to work with our ancestors, with our family members, that died basically for us. If they didn't live for us, then like we wouldn't be here. So like they basically died for us in a sense. So yeah, but that's some whole other shit. We finna get into the last. This is basically like a bonus point because this is interesting to me. So I was like, fuck it, let me add it. It's this white lady that passed away, I think in like 2018 or some shit. Rest in peace. Named Dolores Cannon. She was a hypnotherapist. And she used to send her patients through their past lives to help like with whatever problems and shit they was dealing with or whatever. And she believes that from her work with patients that God is like this big light of energy, right? Or source, what they call it. And she believes that there was that this is where all life comes from, and this is where our soul comes from. And so we gonna break down her theory, or like what she learned, as she says, from her multiple sessions with clients. She worked with like hundreds of clients and sending them back into their past life regression shit and helping them see how they died in their past lives and how they got here. You can go read her books and look her up and shit if you want to. I'm not finna sit here and give y'all a whole breakdown. When we all began, this is her theory. When we all began, we were a part of God or the source. We were pure energy, or what we call love, right? This what you see on the screen, basically, just imagine the light. And God decided that he wanted to learn, because God was nothing but light. He was he was sitting in one spot, just, you know what I'm saying? And he wanted to know. So he burst out in all directions. And so this is where the Big Bang Theory comes from, when they say that like there was nothing and then boom, big explosion and all the shit was created, right? Some of the sparks became, and so yeah, what she said, when God exploded out into all directions, pieces of God became sparks. Like he blew out into sparks, and said some of the sparks became galaxies and universes, and most of them became individual souls. So the soul that's in you, nigga, could have created a whole universe somewhere else. Understand that. That's how strong, that's how important your soul is. That's how powerful it is. When Dolores would take people back into themselves during hypnotherapy, the only thing that they would see is a little spark of light. And so when God sent the sparks out into the universe, he said, go learn, my children. Learn everything there is to learn. Experience everything there is to experience. There is no bad or good, only lessons in experience. And that is why, like, the soul is here right now today, because we're all in. She comes back to the same point that the other religions make, is that life is a play. Life is like a video game, a movie, whatever you want to call it. We here to experience. You want to call it school, you can call it academy, you can call this whole prison, you can call this whole hell, you can call this whole fucking tutorials. We literally here to learn lessons, and like, yeah, our soul is trapped in our flesh to learn these lessons. And so that's basically what all the religions come back to. And so that's what that's the conclusion of this video, is that, okay, we gonna come to the realization that, like, okay, the soul is a spark of light that is basically consciousness or awareness living in different forms to experience life and to learn what it even means to experience, right? And so that's what we got for today. Just some random shit. Y'all can like, comment, subscribe. If you have any recommendations for the page, if you have any questions, any like comments, you know what I'm saying, anything that we can speak on that you want to talk about, any I don't know, it don't matter. You got anything that you want to change about the page, you want to learn about, hear about, you want me to do research on, drop it in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for your time. Thank you for bearing with me. We gonna keep making these videos. We still building the foundation. This page, we gonna do a lot with this page. So thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for learning with me. Stay up, don't fall down. If you do get back up, I love you all, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, gods and goddesses. Stay blessed, never stress. You did.